Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube family? It's the same leg here representing Team JVS. I'm back here again for another review for the Nevers. This is going to be actually a dual review. I'm going to be doing a review for episode 3 and 4. There may be spoilers spread in between. I apologize, my hair is so long and all over the place. Blame Jarrell's Alexandria. He's got me in this movie role that I can't talk about just yet. But nonetheless, so episode 3, Mary's trying to get her voice. She's trying to work with the orphanage to help bring people into the fray through her voice. And Penance has this idea that she can make an amplifier, which actually Mrs. True already labeled it, but she kind of called it something weird. And she felt like she'd be able to amplify it so that it could get a farther reach than it ever has before. But it's interesting because, like, you start to get little tidbits. One of the things I like about the show, specifically these last 2 episodes, is that it wasn't any unnecessary sex. It wasn't any unnecessary nudity. It wasn't any unnecessarily, like, vulgarity. Like, I mean, it was all circumstantial situations that made sense. And I think that that's what I've been saying from the beginning, is that when you have, like, unnecessary sex scenes or unnecessary, like, moments that just because it's HBO just to do it, you kind of deflate from this. Like, for instance, there's a scene where Malady confronted what was his name? I forgot the doctor's name, in the carriage. And when that happened, I was kind of like, oh man, they're gonna like make this all unnecessary nudity and all this kind of stuff. But no, it just ended up being a really creepy scene. It was acted really well, and it also showed and uncovered certain things about who Malady is, how she feels about Lady True, Amelia I'm talking about. And I was like, okay, cool. This is actually really legit. And another thing that they did so freaking dope, their uses of powers, honestly, oh man, this is gonna sound so bad. I don't know if it's Josh doing it or his team that's doing it, but they are doing mutation and powers better than what Fox has been able to do before. And dare I say, like, man, I ain't gonna say that because that's gonna sound really bad. But from the way that this is being done, it's specifically, bro, like there was a scene. This huge dude was going after Lady True. She was legit in her carriage, got knocked off into the water. She's pulling up, and this dude is like charging her. I was like, oh man, he's gonna drag her out the water. No, this man's running on the freaking water and is huge. And I was like, what the flip? And like, there's another moment later on in what episode was it? Was it episode 4? I believe it was episode 4. In episode 4, where Annie was going up against a person that had like metal powers. So well done. Like, the execution and the use is so subtle, but it's so real. The character Lucy in episode 4 specifically, you get the understanding of her whole backstory, like what's really going down with her, why she is the way she is, what's her power. You got a little bit of it, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, because from the narrative standpoint in episode 3 is when things they could turn for the worse. So Mary had a moment to communicate with Frank, and she kind of like lets him know what he needs to hear on the inside, and that she feels like she's doing the right thing and he needs to do the same. He's a good man and all this and that. And like, they're kind of like outside, and I mean, it was crazy because, Amelia almost died. Penance, feels like she doesn't know where to turn, what's the right thing to do. And like, it was kind of a really special moment, and they were like letting the voice go out. I was kind of like, I don't know what's about to happen, but it looks like somebody, what I thought was going to happen is that somebody was going to get uncovered that we didn't know. Or that we'd finally figure out, that daggone Lavinia, Bidlow, is doing all this and orchestrating whatever on the back end. Not just the crazy man that he just, Lord Manson just don't give a darn. Like episode 4, there's a scene with him and Amelia that is honestly probably one of the best scenes of the series so far. Just from a conversation that like good and evil, or two different sides of the spectrum going against each other on an intellectual level, not just a physical one, but just the capability and understanding. So either way, the end of episode 3 ends with Mary dying, like just effectively just getting killed, assassinated. Like, and I was just like, this is the other thing, Laura Donnelly. Honestly, if Marvel was smart and Kristen Ritter didn't want to be Jessica Jones anymore, bruh, like, she easily, if they wanted, they wanted to make more Jessica Jones series, they want to make a Jessica Jones, show up in the Spider-Man movie, that's her. Like, she's got every single one of her action moments. She hits it. She can act. Like, she's got personality. She's the most interesting character in this, because the biggest pivot point in the 4th episode comes where what was Mary's song was. And I think Myrtle was able to interpret it, but she can't articulate what it actually meant. But she knew it. Like, she knew what was really saying. And I've been saying, and I've been wrong. I apologize. I've been wrong. My theory was that Amelia, when she got her power, she took on the form of this lady, but really it's the doctor's wife. Well, we saw in episode 4 episode 3, that Amelia was messing around with this dude. And on top of that, Amelia also was locked up with, Malady in a insane asylum. And they are not too far off on the crazy side. The other thing that also was crazy was the fact that we don't know who Amelia is. It is evident to me. And at this point now, I'm kind of like, who are they supposed to find? Is it her ex? Is it her husband that died? Is it the aliens? Which that's what my theory is at this point. Like, she's just half alien and she can't. Like, she keeps on referencing like that she's another person. And it's like weird because Penance just accepts it. Like, it's kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, she's something else. She's someone else. And I still haven't put those pieces together yet. All I can think of is that legit she might be alien. Like, for real. And it's weird because I think when they went down, I forget where they were at, when they went down to the lower corridor, I think that they have one of the aliens locked up. And I think that it may be reaching out to her. But either way, so episode 4, you got like them, going to the funeral, and like Amelia just couldn't handle it. She legit was like, screw this, I'm gonna go drink, I'm gonna go, get wasted and do my own thing. And she just didn't even go to the funeral. On hindsight, Penance really had to go and, work with everybody, and Myrtle had to go and try to figure out what the language situation. Frank was gonna go and infiltrating to figure out what's happening. And everybody is really trying to dig into what's going on, as well as Amelia eventually. And Amelia, she decides to, like I said, because she had the little vision or whatever, she decides to kind of have that conversation with Lord Mason, which by the end of that conversation pissed her off. And so now she's like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe he might be the bad guy. Like, we need to go and just hit him where it hurts. Take out the, whatevers. And it gets interesting really fast because Annie wants to help. Other people will rally behind them. Like, it's a whole different game. The end of episode 3 ended with, of course, Mary's death, but a lot more people came to the orphanage to have their back because of what Mary was able to do. And even deeper than that, the message that she left directly for Mrs. True, which is Amelia. What I didn't see coming was Lucy. I did not see that. And I think it was a really bold move. I think it was actually a really smart move. I just feel like, I hope and pray that Amelia's secret or backstory pays off. Because I was like convinced. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, she's, the black guy's wife, because we just hadn't seen her. We hadn't seen the wife since the first episode. So I was like, okay, I just assumed that. No, she was messing around with this man, and she's also got some other stuff going. Because every time she keeps on doing this, like she keeps doing this to her sides, and I was like, there's something else there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you enjoying the Nevers? Can you believe it's only 6 episodes? What do you guys think that reasoning is? I have my own personal suspicions and thoughts on that. I definitely know that this, depending on the next episode, I'll be able to know whether or not this ended on a good note, regardless if it's going to a second season or not, or if it should have been at least 8 episodes. Most times it's normally the 8 episodes that's a good sweet spot, but we'll see. Hope you guys did enjoy this review though, and make sure you subscribe, hit that little bell button, and we got a lot more content coming. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Peace, guys.